So I start posting these videos and I just save up all my money, buy a house in Riverside, remodel the home. I ended up buying my first home from Facebook money alone. Not my tattoo money, Facebook money alone.
This is the True Hustle Podcast with your host, JR.
This is the True Hustle Podcast with your host, JR.
How many tattoos do you have, bro?
I don't even know. I still need some areas done too, though. So,
man, how old were you when you got your first one?
16. Yeah, 16 was when I first started getting tattooed.
And was it just a spur of the moment? And we're like, I just want to get tatted. Not like, let's do it.
No, never that. It actually was spur of the moment. I was dating my girlfriend.
Okay.
And we had been dating for a few weeks. And at the time, we were living at her aunt's house. Rest in peace, our tia Diane. And the setting was, this is borderline Santa Ana in Orange County. And she's like an old school chola. Her tattoo artist was this guy named Indio, this older guy, veterano, and he was tattooing the family. So at the time we hear, oh, there's this tattoo artist at the house. Do you want to get tattooed? I'm like, let's do it. So at the time we're working with homemade machines. So we had to make the run to Home Depot. We make the run to Home Depot. We go get the sandpaper. We go get we had guitar strings. So these are tools that you'd prepare.
Shit.
You'd have to supply your own materials to get tattooed. So at the time I was dating my girlfriend, and I mean, I had never met anybody like her at the time. This was my first serious, everything just started fast, right? And at the time we decided to get our names tattooed. So yeah, that was wild.
Man, so just of a homemade tattoo.
Homemade machine.
But it was real ink. It wasn't like the ones that's fabricated like in gel, right?
Or the ink that turns blue or green,
yes,
right? No.
That's what I'm trying to.
Yeah,
that's what I'm trying to get at.
Everything was homemade except the ink. The ink was 100% legit.
Okay, cool. I was like, man, did it turn green after?
Yeah. And you know what's funny is sometimes people request that look. They want that old school 90s. Some people want that aesthetic.
Yeah.
They don't want a perfect tattoo. So everyone's different.
So in order for you to do, so it's the black ink and then you mix in blue or green, or how does that work if they want that type of look?
Got it. So they're all different pigments, right? Some of them have a black hue. Some of them, the pigments are made that way. I mean, when you tattoo somebody, you break those tones down, so you dilute them with other mix-ins, and you could control the tones. But as far as the tone, it is what it is. They're made like that. But funny thing is that it's still even today, a lot of the inks that we use, they're technically drawing ink. They're not even, like, for example, Talons. This is a brand that I'm sure a lot of tattoo artists know of, Talons. That's technically, it's a ink for paper. It's not. It even says on the bottle, not meant for tattooing. So a lot of the ink that was used wasn't even made for tattooing. Now we're at a whole different time now. There's a ton of products available. There's, of course, inks, pigments that are made just for the purpose of tattooing. But again, at the time, there wasn't official tattoo inks. So it was drawing ink is what it was.
And like nowadays, there's like that triple black, right?
Exactly.
And for a second, I thought I was a tattoo expert. So I was
it sounds like you know what you're talking about, bro.
So I would see Adrian put the caps, like, oh, this is a half cap or this or that. This is for the tones. I was like, dude, I'm going to give me a tattoo kit. Bro, because that's how people start. Like, I'm like, dude, I'm going to give me one on Amazon. He's like, do it, bro. I'm like, no. First of all, I'm not an artist. I suck at drawing. And that's a gift that you guys have. How do you go from, hey, I'm pretty good at drawing on paper to translating that onto skin? Like, how's that process?
It is a tough process because, again, you're dealing with a breathing canvas. So you're dealing with curves on the body. A lot of times your body is rejecting the ink. So you have to learn people's skin types, certain stretches and certain points of the body. So I think it just comes with experience because, you see a lot of people's early work. Well, now it's different, but you see a lot of people's early work now, and it's not the greatest. So it just takes putting those hours in. You're talking about tattoo supplies. That's something that I think is different today than it was, 15 years ago.
Absolutely.
Because today you can order a tattoo machine, and we see, especially during the pandemic, a lot of new tattoo artists that, started TikTok. They have their supplies that they ordered from Amazon Prime, and they're tattooing today, and they're blowing up. They're getting busy with clientele. So that was something different. I remember when I first bought okay, let's take this back. When I first bought my tattoo supplies, I actually used Indio's name. The guy that tattooed me, I went to this small hole-in-the-wall tattoo supplier, and he's like, hey, just give him my name. Tell him Indio sent you. So I went over there, and I finessed getting my supplies. I was trying to learn. So I went in there buying professional needles. At the time, you would buy handmade tattoo needles, 5 for like $15-$20. You can get 50 needles for that price today. So even price difference, again, you had to make your own needles at the time. It's a whole new industry, and it's still changing. I'm seeing it change today.
Because you started tattooing you were raised in the 90s, right?
Yes.
And that's when tattooing was like, oh, if you have a tattoo, that is cholo.
That's right.
Or this. So it wasn't like, there was a stigma with it, right? Like
100%.
It wasn't. So like, do you see now that it's evolved and it's changed?
Definitely see a big difference. And you're right. Back in the day, it was cholos, sailors, right? Troublemakers, outlaws, bikers. That's what you thought of when you thought of tattoos, the Yakuza, right? Like the Japanese mafia. So today, yes. And that's what I tell my guys at my shop at Pachuco Tattoo is you never know who's going to walk through the door. And I always joke, one day I'm tattooing a dude that works for UPS. The next day I'm tattooing a cholo. The next day I'm tattooing a rapper. The following, a soccer mom. So it's all walks of life. And I think that's what I think separates me from a lot of tattoo artists is that I can connect with all people. And I love it, man. We get to tattoo. You go to a Hot Topic now and the girl at the counter is more tattooed than you know what I mean?
Yeah, because now it's more common.
Yeah.
Now you see, even if you go to McDonald's or if you go to any type of restaurants, it's like, oh man, that girl's blasted.
Yeah, I'm even surprised Disneyland that was so strict on the tattoo policy, they're a lot more lenient now. So you're able to have tattoos at Disneyland.
Cops.
Oh,
that you couldn't before.
Yeah.
And now, like, somebody pulls you over and you're like, this is fully blasted.
Yeah. No, and that's funny that you say that. I've been tattooing a lot of cops these last few months. And again, I tattoo all walks of life. A funny story is, it's not funny, but it's awkward. But I remember when I got my DUI and I went to jail, when I was being processed, I saw one of my clients, one of the cops, that was doing the processing. And it was one of those moments where we locked eyes. We didn't say anything to each other. We just kept it moving. But it's funny because after that, I got a chance to talk to him after. I had a session with him after. But that's one of those awkward moments where, you see each other and it's just weird.
But I think you played it right.
Yeah.
And, he was probably like, damn, don't talk to me.
Yeah, don't talk for sure.
To me,
and you don't want to be seen talking to him inside. It's politics. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you guys both understood
Definitely
what it was. And it was like, yeah, keep it pushing, dog. Keep it pushing. So going back, so let's bring it back a little bit. How did you develop that interest in did it start with art or did it start strictly with just tattooing?
No, tattooing came later on in life, my teenage years. But all my life, I've always done art. My uncle, I have several uncles that were artists, so they used to draw like Looney Tunes back in the day. I remember I used to draw Disney characters. So as a young kid, I always that's how I would pass the time. Again, life before the internet. When you would play outside, I remember we used to have, you remember everybody used to have, back in the day, everybody had an encyclopedia collection. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
So I used to grab the encyclopedias that were usually in the entertainment center in the living room. But I remember I used to grab the encyclopedias and I would rip out the white pages. And I remember just drawing Disney characters. And so I've always, art has always been present in my life. I've always been creative. I've always loved to create. It's not just art on paper. I'm a creative person. I like to think outside the box and present things differently, right? So, it started off young, and I remember getting awards in school growing up, and I was also inspired by Lowrider Arte. Do you remember Lowrider Arte, the magazines? Yeah. So I remember seeing, and culturally, I thought that was really cool because I was influenced. You'd see the Chicano art, the Chicano arte, and you'd see the lowriders, you see Mexican flags and their old payasos, things like that. So I've always loved the Chicano images, even since I was a kid, and I grew up on oldies and funk. So, Chicano lifestyle kind of just went with, the music, the Sundays at the park, things like that. And I've always just loved I lived the Southern California lifestyle, and art was just always present, mostly in those ways there. Yeah. Tattooing didn't come till later on in life. But I was actually really quiet as a kid, and I learned that art art helped me connect with people, and I knew that at a young age, and I've tried to use that to my advantage in life. So
you were always like an introvert.
Definitely
more
was an introvert. Yeah, in class I was quiet. I didn't really talk a lot. I was always nervous. I used to stutter a lot. Sometimes I catch myself stuttering in these podcasts too. But it's a lot of times people see you, hey, you're confident on camera, but no, I wasn't always like this. I mean, I still get nervous today, but something we have to be aware of and work on. And I tell people I feel the same. I'm nervous too. So.
And I stutter a lot too. It's just because I feel that I'm so reserved. So people assume right away that, this guy's so comfortable on video and all that. Nah, it was not like that.
Yeah.
It took some time and shit, I had to evolve with the times. So
definitely.
Yeah. So when did you actually tattoo your first tattoo?
So at the time, me and my girlfriend were dating, so we moved out of our house really young. She got kicked out, and I moved out of my mom's house, and that's when we went to our tia's house where we got tattooed. So we spent some time there, and then we get our own apartment. So we're still in high school, and when tattooing started,
in high school?
I'm still in high school. Yeah, I'm still in high school.
And you moved out and did everything?
Yeah. At 17, we have our own apartment. I'm working at KFC. I have a full-time job. I'm going to high school, borrowing a car at the time. So in the meantime, I'm grinding, bro. This is True Hustle Podcast. I'm grinding. I'm selling candy to make money for food, make money for gas to get me to school and home. So I'm grinding, trying to make whatever money I can. We get tattooed. I get inspired because we get tattooed. I start seeing my friends get tattooed. This is Miami Ink's out on TV. It's starting to get really trendy, right? So I start thinking, hey, maybe I can tattoo. That's when I buy my tattoo kit, and I start tattooing because I wanted to make extra money to help pay for the rent, help pay for these bills, and that's how tattooing came to me.
Wow, and this is crazy. It is true hustle.
Yeah.
So you moved out, did everything, moved in with your chick, was paying an apartment, going to school, working full time, and you still got your tattoo kit so you could start learning.
Yeah. No, it was a crazy schedule. I'd go to high school, go to work at KFC, get off at KFC, sometimes pull these all-nighters, tattoo my close friends and family. I remember I was telling my coworkers, they were all getting tattoos. So yeah, it was and I did that for a lot of years. Yeah, I didn't really have a lot of free time. I haven't said I'm bored, and I can't remember when. So,
yeah. Oh, that's crazy. So, once you're done with high school, then did you just jump into the tattooing, or did you take another route?
I did take it. Okay, so I'm glad you asked. So high school's over. I've already been So it actually started tattooing. It was shortly after high school. After the summer that I graduated, that's when I actually, because I was messing around with it, but when I really consider myself to really start my tattoo journey was the summer after high school. Summer after high school starts, then I'm on grind time. I'm putting more hours on tattooing. At this point, I'm obsessed with tattooing. I'm living, breathing, tattooing. That's all I think about. That's all I want to do. And I start having dreams. I want to open up a tattoo shop. That's when my tattoo dream started. And what happens is I'm making a little bit more money as time goes by. We then get an apartment with an extra room. So then I'm tattooing out of my house. And I have a studio, probably this size, right? And I turn it into my tattoo space. So I'm tattooing more consistently out of my house. And then YouTube comes around. And I start messing around on YouTube. And I start putting videos out. And there was a new tattoo shop that was opening in the city that I was living in at the time, which was City of Orange. And I get a message from this person, and they're telling me, "Hey, my brother's about to open up a tattoo shop. Do you wanna come by for an interview?" I signed up right away. I was the first tattoo artist that got hired to that tattoo shop, and by then I'm super inspired. I saw what YouTube did for me. It reached a new audience, somebody that I would have probably never met in real life, and it opened up an opportunity for me to. My goal was to get into a tattoo shop first. It opened the door of me getting into my first professional shop. And that's when I feel, I don't really count a lot of my days because I didn't do things necessarily the right way. It took me a long time to even to learn what I learned in that short amount of time in the shop. So officially my journey started in 2010, which is when I started at that tattoo shop, West Coast Ink. And again, it just opened up the doors with YouTube, and I was super inspired to create content. I want to blow up. This is my goal now. So
on YouTube, you were just uploading videos of you tattooing?
Yes. So there were more videos where I'd introduce myself, and it was more really shitty videos, man. And let me tell you,
bro, we all start with shitty ass videos, bro. So don't feel bad.
No, for sure. And now that we're talking about it, I'm glad we're talking about this because I a lot of it is captions. You want to hook people, right?
Yes.
I spice things up. I'm not really banned from Disneyland, but I use these words, these things to get you into what I'm doing, right? I remember, check this out. Before I even put out my regular videos, I put out a video that was titled Lil Wayne's Tattoo Artist. That was one of my first videos on YouTube. And I got 100K views on that video. Right away, boom, 100K, right?
But you weren't Lil Wayne's tattoo?
In fact, I had not tattooed one celebrity at that time.
Got him.
Yeah. So this video's trending, and the comments are funny because they're like, nah, you're not really Lil Wayne's tattoo artist. So it's funny. So I saw what again, the internet can do, and I'm inspired by videos. Again, very shitty videos. I join a tattoo shop, and at that time, I'm thinking, this is my tattoo family. We're all gonna blow up together. This is a team I'm gonna make it with, right? Unfortunately, that shop only lasted about a year and a half. It was a non-tattooer owned tattoo shop, and a lot of those shops typically don't last. Most of the shops that are successful today are owned by tattoo artists. So, anyways, this business guy came in, and shortly after, there was managers, too many people involved, in my opinion, and issues over money, of course, and there was theft. So everybody went their own ways. And that was kind of a bummer because, again, you start a journey and you think you're going to make it with the people you start with, and it was saddened to see that. So once that happens, I'm really close with a few guys from that shop, and we start thinking, okay, what do we do here? We think of or we consider opening up our own tattoo shop. And shortly after that, everybody, in a span of a month, everybody's finding their place to work at. Some people open their own private studio, or everyone's just going their own ways. And I'm the last one left, and I'm thinking, well, damn, I'm super excited about opening up a shop. I want to open up a shop. And I go on, I forget, it was Craigslist or something, and I see this ad for a small space for a tattoo shop. And this was in the city of Orange. Again, it's crazy how it's happening because I worked in construction in Orange. I got hired at a tattoo shop in Orange, and the Craigslist ad that I get happens to be in Orange, right up the street from all those locations.
All right.
So I see an ad, and it's basically this guy that tried to open up a shop, and it was 100 square foot space. And this guy wanted somebody to take over the lease. So I came in, took over the lease. Pachuco Tattoo started in 2011 as a 100 square foot studio. A lot of people don't know that. Yeah. Small space, 2 artists, 1 apprentice. And yeah, that's what started.
3 people out of 100 square foot
small
place.
Space.
That's what's up.
Yeah. Yeah, and at this time, I'm putting out videos. I'm putting out videos. I link up with, Sergio Maldonado. He was my first, official videographer that I hired. I start putting out promo videos, right? And I just start putting them out. And a lot of people think we're a big shop because of the way I'm marketing my shop. And a year after that 100 square foot space, I get an offer from the landlord, and they offer me a bigger space in this complex. And I then expand to a 1,600 square foot studio, and then at one point we had 13 artists. So we went from 3 guys to 13 people in a span of a year.
And you're managing everything.
I'm managing everything.
Oh man, I want to know those struggles. People see you, right?
Yeah.
RocknRollG, he's the man. He's tattooing all these famous people, the Ball brothers, this, that, all these big names. And they're only going to see the end product.
Of course.
Which is, you're a polished individual now. But they need to know the bullshit you had to go through too. Because I'm sure as a business owner, bro, it has its challenges. So I'm just curious to see what you went through, in terms of managing people now, managing the space, doing this. Because for me, like when I first started, I was everything. I was running everything. But, with time, you become more seasoned and you know how to leverage, you build a team, and you learn how to delegate. So my question to you is, how was that?
Difficult as shit. And
Yes.
and if it wasn't for me, now keep in mind, I opened up my tattoo shop while I'm working a full-time job. I'm still doing a bunch of things at the same time. So I'm running this, opening up a business, tattooing, and it was hard. My business model was trash. It was hard. And in the beginning, so I'm putting out these videos, and I've always gotten along with a lot of people. I've never had enemies, people that I've had problems with in life, man. To be real and honest, in school, I never had problems with people, man. And I feel like I didn't start having problems with people till I started tattooing, man. Then I started getting hate from other tattoo artists, other tattoo shops. I remember, for example, we were one of the first shops to run a Black Friday special, right? And I would attach videos with these events and specials. And I remember early on, a lot of tattoo shops, especially because I came in at a time where there wasn't a lot of tattoo shop owners. When I opened up my tattoo shop, I was 23. I was the youngest tattoo shop owner in the state of California at that time. So I opened up my tattoo shop at 23. I came at a time when it was old school, older guys. There's a lot of politics involved. I mean, if I would have opened a few years before, I would have had old school tattooers break my windows. That's how it was back in the day. If you opened up, it was like that. A lot of politics. If you opened up a shop within a certain feet within another tattoo shop, you'd either have to get their blessing, or you know what I mean. You really would have to get their blessing in order to open. So yeah, it was just a different time. And like I said, it came with a lot of hate. And in the beginning, like I said, I didn't really know how to charge my guys, right? I didn't know. So I really wasn't making a profit. I was in the red for a long time. And it's crazy because it's sad in me because, again, I've gone through a lot of guys. My shop has been open for 13 years, and I don't have one single person in my current crew that I started with. And again, you wish you want to blow up with your day ones, but unfortunately people have left for a lot of reasons. I've had a lot of falling out with a lot of artists, a lot of tattoo shops in Orange County, a lot of people that opened up a lot of those shops, new shops in Orange County, started out at my shop. I was their first tattoo shop that they worked at. So I've given a lot of opportunities to a lot of people, and it comes genuine too, bro, because if you're a part of my team, I want to see you win, man. And unfortunately, you can help people, but a lot of times those people that you help out the most end up stabbing you the back, and unfortunately, I'm at a point now, you've seen that meme where it's like, I think it's a girl, a cartoon, it's like a bunch of knives on their back, and they're like, nothing phases me now. That's where I'm at now, bro. I've gotten so many knives in my back that I don't even take it personal, man. I just keep it moving now, and it is what it is. But you asked how was it? It came with a lot of struggles, not really knowing how to really run a business, and it took me away from the art of tattooing, and that's something that I'm resentful for now, because again, I wish I would have taken my time where I could just focus on being an artist. And sometimes I think about that. I feel like I could be at a more elevated level when it comes to just the craft of tattooing, because again, you're dealing with management, all the logistics of the shop, the taxes, like all these things that you don't really think of when you open up any business.
But you were 23, right?
I was 23, yes.
Yeah, so I think what 23-year-old is just programmed to run a business. I wasn't taught anything about business. So it's like you were just fucking jumping in, and it's like, hey, I can't swim, but I'm going to throw myself in there and I'm going to learn.
Figure it out. Yeah.
I'm going to figure that shit out. It has this, And then it's challenging, and you're right, because people always think that there's something better out there. And they're just going to, sometimes it's just about them. And I'm going to get as much as I possibly can right here. I'm going to bounce. And it's just the way that shit goes sometimes in business.
Definitely.
And it leaves you, because sometimes you feel like you pour into people a lot, and then you start taking it personal.
Yeah.
I've gone through stuff like that.
Yeah, it's tough not to take it personal, but
absolutely.
Yeah.
But I always, but you grow from it. I bet you've learned so many lessons that you're like, nah, fuck this. I'm not going to do this shit again. And this is how I'm going to change it.
Definitely.
because we're human. We have that emotional element. I'm telling you from experience that I'm like, man, fuck this mother.
Yeah.
After everything that I've done and
Yeah.
this and that, dude, nobody cares about your feelings. I tell myself that now. So what? You did it with a good heart, with good intentions, and it is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Now, learn how to separate yourself from it, or learn how to allow yourself to feel, but just make it really short.
Definitely.
You know,
and I think you can't hold on to those feelings either, because I feel like for a few years I was holding on to those feelings, and I'm at a point now where, I mean, I wish everybody well, man. I have no enemies. I have no problems with anybody. I hope everybody's doing good, but you're right. They have been lessons. Now I know who not to associate myself with. Now I know who not to rock with. So
yeah, it's just, I think everything's it's a learning experience for you, especially for young entrepreneurs that are just opening their business and now are in a management position. Now they have to manage and run a business and still do the same business that you're managing.
Yep.
So you learn, and it is what it is. I just, people need to learn how to separate emotions from business.
That's right.
And for me, it's like, I'm going to be mad for 5 minutes. I'm going to allow myself that. Get over it. I wish you the best. I hope you succeed. And I gotta take care of mine.
That's right.
So yeah, that's crazy. So once you started there, and then you started, at what point did you target celebrities?
Yes.
Or how did that come about?
Yes. So coming in, I mean, I've always loved the entertainment industry. Even when I was a kid, I've talked about how I've had a lot of passions in life. And when I was a kid, I remember my dad used to take me to like Nickelodeon castings, or, you'd hear on the radio, bring your kid here, boom, 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 right? So I was dreaming of that, man. I remember I wanted to be an actor. I wanted to be in entertainment. So I've always loved, just again, Hollywood, I have a Hollywood tattoo on me. So I've always loved entertainment, media. So that was something that I've always had. So coming into tattooing, I'm inspired by Mr. Cartoon, OG Abel, a few artists that were in the mainstream. And again, in school, you're taught about the Da Vinci's, Van Goghs, right? You're taught all these artists.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, okay, I want to be a modern in my own way, right? A modern artist that a lot of people are going to remember, like a Banksy. And I start thinking, what legacy am I going to leave behind? So I came into the game really targeting celebrities. I tattooed my first celebrity, Britannia. She was on VH1, one of those VH1, The Rock of Love show. And then at this time, I get no tag, no nothing. This is Facebook. Instagram's not even out. So I get to tattoo a celebrity, and word of mouth spread fast. And that was very powerful for me. And after that, I want to keep this going, keep the ball rolling. In the 2010s, I start tattooing underground rappers. Shout out to Reverie. I tattooed Reverie, Fora,
shout out Reverie.
Self-Provoked, a lot of these artists early on. And again, I wanted to be an artist that was known for that. I wanted to mix, again, entertainment, media, my art, my love of art, my passion, plus with these videos, and I just combined it all together. And just got the ball rolling. It's been a domino effect. Mm-hmm. It didn't come easy. I feel like in the beginning, it was one or two a year, and then little by little, I'm getting one a month. Before you know it, it's just, it definitely took time. But you asked, was I targeting celebrities? I wanted to be a tattoo artist for the entertainment industry, yes.
But I seen your interview, right? And you said something that I was like, this is why. This is why you kept on climbing. You said, I started giving my tattoos for free.
Yep.
And you've said this before. And I'm just like, that right there. How do you get known? Start giving your services out for free at the beginning. It's not going to be like that all the time. But it's going to set you up, especially if that individual has a following and an audience. If you tattoo them, hey, who did that? RocknRollG. Boom. And then it just starts like a fucking, like a trickle-down effect, right?
Yeah, it definitely is. That word of mouth is powerful. But yes, giving out the work for free is what got it started. I definitely just started DMing people, offering my services, you have to create the demand. I used to work in construction sales. And that was one of those things I was taught is if there's no demand, you have to create the demand. And I'm so thankful because I worked a sales job. It got me around, talking to people, got me outside my comfort zone. I learned to talk to people that normally I'd be super intimidated to talk to. And I think that really helped me out. So I'm so grateful my experience in construction sales because I feel like everything I've learned, you apply it to what you're currently doing, your current goal. And that's what I did. I started reaching out to people, offering my services, and it came with a lot of sacrifices. Again, there was times where, I don't have any money. I shouldn't even be tattooing for free, but it's just believing in that long-term vision that one day it's going to pay off is really, and being obsessed with it too, because even today, even in today's time, current time, I'm still obsessed with it, man. It's almost a problem where I have to stop work, right? A lot of us are workaholics. So it's learning also when to turn it off. And it's a gift and a curse because it's hard for me to turn it off. I can't relax, man. Even on a day off, I'm thinking of a video idea. And I think that comes with video creators too. I know you do real estate, but when you start getting more full time on the creator side, it's almost like there is no off because constant ideas are always coming in and you got to write those down and you got to, you know what I mean? It's just one of those things where it makes it difficult to turn off because we're constantly getting new ideas and we're constantly trying to create.
Absolutely. And I think I have the same problem. Since I bugged this guy a little bit too much, he's like, dude, it's like
chill.
Chill out. And I'm like, fucking can't sleep. I got this idea.
Yeah.
No. And then I'll usually write it down or put it on my notes.
Your notes.
But it's like you're constantly trying to create because I think in this specific, like in terms of being a creator and doing content, should be changing a lot.
Definitely.
So it's like you got to keep changing as well. So it's like you can't really master it because it's changing. So it's like you got to change with it. So with that change comes a new plan.
Definitely.
A new plan of execution. And it's like, fuck, it doesn't stop. My wife is like, man, like chill, bro.
No, you're right. And you mentioned, the things that it takes to become a business owner. You named those things in the beginning, right? But now you also have to add social media, marketing, photography.
Bro.
Now it's a whole list of other things that you have to do along with just opening up a business, and just the essentials. So
I got in some DMs like, man, bro, it's just like you're having so much fun and this and that. And I'm like, it's only one day a week, right? I have to run a fucking business and I have to do this and I have to take care of my rentals and I have to do, it's a lot. Mm-hmm. And then to add this on top of it, like shit.
Yeah. No, but bro, it's amazing that you're still, I'm sure this is a passion that you have, right? And you're doing it while still, because a lot of people, they won't want to do that until they got all their ducks in a row. When they're finally ready, you're never going to be ready. You just have to start. And it's okay with, having, when I was tattooing, I was working at KFC. I had other jobs it's good. It's okay to have a job and still chase your dream at the same time. Yeah. Just balance out that time. A lot of times I feel like a lot of people are waiting or putting it off. Just start it, figure it out along the way.
I think people plan and don't do shit.
Yep.
I had a full-time job. I went to college. I did my thing. I got my degrees and I had a job, but I was like planning to do what I really enjoyed. Okay. People, for me, it's like working on your passion and all that is cool, but you're going to have to work a lot of shitty ass jobs to be able to work on your passion and do certain things that you really enjoy doing. And to me, those were stepping stones. So little by little, I was like, okay, I'm ready. Now I substituted my income. I invested in this type of real estate and I did this. So now I'm like, all right, now we could do this,
Definitely.
And it's not easy. So I'm not trying to make it seem like this shit was hell no. It took me 17 years.
100%. Yeah.
17 years.
Yeah.
Like my overnight success was 17 years. And shit, I'm here.
Yep. And we can't compare our journeys to other people. Sometimes I consider myself a late winner, and that's something that I want to inspire people too on because, I'm in my mid-30s and I still want to show people. Some people hit my age and they think I can't chase my dream. No, bro or miss, you can do it at any time. There's a legendary tattoo artist, Bob Tyrell. He didn't get started till way later on in life. So whether it's tattooing, any other thing, you might even have a career right now that you're in. It's not too late to change careers. You still have time. It's never too late. So that's something that I tell people till this day. That's I think that's what separates me from a lot of other artists too, is when you get tattooed by me, it's not just a tattoo. You can get a tattoo by anybody else. In fact, you can get a better tattoo by somebody else. You know, I'm working on being the best artist that I can be, but you know, again, what separates me is the experience. I think I do when I talk to people. We're talking about how this is therapy for you. You know, I mentioned on Toast to Life how it's also therapy for me too. It is therapy when I sit with my client for 8 to 10 hours. A lot of times I'm encouraging you to chase your dreams. A lot of my questions are because a lot of my clients, they don't post on the internet or they don't do anything. I ask them, well, what are you into? And they tell me, hey, I wanna put content out. I was just getting cut by my barber yesterday, and same thing. It's they don't know where to start, and I come in and I offer the things that have worked for me, the things that I'm sharing with you today. I share these things with all of my clientels, and I inspire not just the people on the internet. I want to inspire my day-to-day clients, and I feel that's what separates me from other people, is the experience that you have aside from the tattoo. You pay for the therapy, the tattoo is free.
Because you are sitting there for like 8 to 10 hours. Yeah. So
you get to know people on deep levels.
So then you get to know them and you get to motivate them instead of, you know, talking.
Or the other way around. My clients motivate me too. And that's what I'm trying, you know, the network that I'm building, I want to be inspired by other people, the artists that I'm around. I want them to work harder than I do, you know, and a lot of my clients do inspire me. So it's vice versa. It's mutual. Yeah.
And you never stopped doing content, huh? Even when you started. And that's so key.
Yeah, always. Things that a lot of, it's funny because, again, for me as a tattoo artist, I start putting out content like, and it's okay to be controversial. I start, you know, putting out these videos where I tattoo in public, and right away tattoo artists like, it's not sanitary, it's not this. Like, well, no shit, it's not. Like, this is just a quick tattoo. It's just for content. And again, so you start getting hate in the beginning, and then fast forward to now, people start, you know, copying what you're doing. But it's okay. I don't take things personal. People copy my tattoos. People copy my videos. I'm happy to inspire. And you know what motivates me is I don't look at it like that. I've seen people where they get really upset. Oh, they copied my stuff, right? I'm the type where I'm like, okay, cool. By the time you copy what I'm doing, I'm already on some new stuff. Yes. I'm on a whole new series. So I'm forever changing. That's why I like to do series. I switch my stuff up. You know, I've mentioned how a lot of people on the internet, some people don't know me as a tattoo guy. Some people don't know me for other things based on my other series of videos. So, you know, that's what I'm trying to do is I want to expand my web, expand my reach. I want to eventually, I just had a 5-year anniversary for my first podcast yesterday, which was 5 years on the day yesterday. My boy Greg, we did a podcast called The Link Up, and I found myself thinking about that podcast because he asked, where do you want to be in 5 years? And a lot of those goals that I set for myself 5 years ago, thank God, I've been able to achieve a lot of those goals. So it's got me thinking, what are the next 5 years? What's to come of these next 5 years? And we're talking about expanding reach. I want to reach the world. I want to be able to have a tour just like my idols, Mr. Cartoon, that he was one of the first people that I saw him tattoo the world. He did a tour like you would do like a music tour. He hit London, you know, Japan, Germany, all these countries. That's what I'm chasing now is tattooing worldwide, reaching a worldwide audience. And also, you know, not just tattooing. I want to do things outside of tattooing. I dream of, people know me as tattooing right now, but maybe 15 years down the road, you might know me as a horror director. You know what I mean? I want to direct films. Like, these are things
maybe
that...
an actor.
Director.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I love horror. That's another one of my passions. I love horror films. I go to horror conventions, and in my lifetime, I don't think I know I'm going to put out a horror project in my lifetime. And these are passions that I have, and these are the things that got me thinking, well, what's next, right? You know, I'm already tattooing, you know, a lot of the people that I wanted to tattoo. What do I take it from here? And it's just got me, again, just thinking, what's to come? What do I want to do in the next 5 years?
So in 5 years, you could watch this again and say, well, actually, what do you want to, so you said that a film, but like in terms of the actual tattooing game, like do you feel like you're still going to be tattooing, or you're just going to be focusing on projects like that?
No, I'll always tattoo. I'm glad you asked that. I'll always tattoo. Tattooing is my true passion. I don't think I'll ever stop. Doesn't matter what I'm doing. I tell people I can win the lottery. I can be doing all the things I want to do. I'll still make time for tattooing. But I definitely want to expand and be more involved in other creative projects like those things. I love oldies and soul music. So I envision myself throwing concert events. Like that's something I'd love to put together, themed concert events. Okay. Again, I like to, think outside the box. I tell people this when it comes to tattooing, or you could apply it to any other industry, right? You could be the best tattoo artist. You could tattoo better than me, but the things that separate me is the way I present my tattoos. So it's presentation also. You can have a profile with the baddest tattoos in the world, but if I'm showing my tattoo that's nowhere as near in this other different creative way, whether it's storytelling or with a hook, I'm going to get more people's attention. So you have to take advantage of that, and also be mindful of how am I presenting this, whether it's a service, a good, how am I presenting this to the world? And I think that's where my creativity is one of my advantages when it comes to presentation. So I like to present my art in a different way.
And I think you're probably one of the only ones that presents it the way you do on reels, and like you're really creative.
Thank you, bro.
And I think that's what makes you stand out. Because I don't think anybody had that idea that I'm just gonna go fucking tattoo somebody and just in the open, Yep. And there's certain things that you do that do make you stand out. Big time.
Yeah, I tattooed a hot dog and I got 85 million views on Facebook. So it's like, when the hell do you ever see a hot dog being tattooed? So yeah, again, just thinking outside the box. Another thing I wanted to share too is that where I'm going to in the next 5 years is I really want to, again, I focus on a lot of other parts of it, but I really want to go down to the simplest form, which is I want to just simply better my tattoos. Because right now, like for example, I had a hot week this week. I tattooed Lamelo, and like they showed my stuff on TMZ. I woke up to a message today that I was on ESPN. So it's like I'm experiencing a high right now this week, right? But it also comes with the low, which was I'm reading some of these comments and I'm being called mid, I'm overrated. And it's just, it's hard not to take those things personal, but I'm using those to motivate me, and I want to better my tattooing to give people, less of a reason to talk. If my tattoos are, but again, it's a tough one because beauty is in the eye of the beholder. So what I think is a perfect tattoo is different than the next. So I don't think we could ever please everybody. But for myself personally, I want to do the best tattoos that I can possibly do. And I know a lot of tattoo artists might be able to tattoo better than me right now, but they can't outwork me. And that's another thing that I think separates me from the rest is again, they might tattoo better than I, but my work ethic is stronger. And I think that's very important. So they say hard work beats talent, right? And I definitely believe that. Definitely believe that.
And I just think some of these fucking comments on IG and oh my God, and like on social media, those shits, these motherfuckers go in.
Yeah.
And I was just talking to this guy about this earlier. Like, fuck. I was like, did you see this? I'm like, this motherfucker, this fool, like, bro, like, oh my God. Like, and then I look at the, especially if it's on my page, I'm like, who the fuck is this fool?
Yeah.
Boom. Fake account. I'm like, you don't count. And then it's just really hard not to take it personal.
Sure.
And fuck, I'm just like, why? Like, and then you have to look at it for what it really is.
Sure.
Social media platforms gives everybody a voice. You could be in your mom's couch, chilling, playing video games, and be like, man, I'm gonna hate on this fool. Fuck this fool.
Yeah.
Boom, 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 boom. And it's like, damn, But it's like, I learned how to be like, you know what? This shit is funny because, I just be like,
it lives on the internet because I've never had anybody in real life come up and tell me that. So, they might think it, but I've never had anybody come up to me and tell me. It's just, it lives on the internet. It's all good.
And then we do tend to take it a little bit personal.
Yeah.
Like, man, she said that shit in my face,
and I worry about it too, bro, because I remember years ago, one time I woke up and it was early morning. It's always early morning. They, wake up.
These motherfuckers start at 7 a.m.
They had hate for breakfast, bro. It's insane.
Like, I fucking hate my life.
But
damn, fool.
but I remember this interaction, and I spent more time on it than I should have. But we're going back and forth, and then it got me thinking because he had a private account. Then it got me thinking, if we just had this mean exchange, if I run out and if I'm out in public and this dude sees me, who knows how he's gonna feel? I don't know his state of mind. He knows what I look like. I don't know what this dude looks like. I couldn't tell based on his profile picture, and that got me nervous. And I'm like, you know what? It's not even worth it. I'd rather just. And I don't delete comments either. I leave them, bro. It's all good.
I just came up with a rule today. I'm like, man, if your account is blocked and you have no post and you have everything private, then you shouldn't be commenting hateful ass shit.
For sure.
Put your shit out there, homie. Don't be if you're gonna talk shit, leave it open, homie, so they could, you know what I'm saying?
Definitely.
I was just thinking that. I be fucking thinking some crazy shit when I'm drinking my coffee. I was like, man, this fool, fuck this fool.
Yeah.
Like, private blog, 0 posts. Then you shouldn't be talking shit about this person.
They're hiding behind that account.
I'm just like, because chances are you won't say that shit in person. Yeah. But at the end of the day, it is what it is. Yeah. We really can't take it personal.
I think when people are like winning too, there's no time for that. You're like winning, bro. You're focused on winning that. You have no time to even hate, man. So if people are commenting negativity, that just tells me like they're upset about something. Maybe nothing's good. Because if you're in a good mood, you're winning, bro. Again, you don't have any of those feelings, bro. In fact, I'd rather see more winners. Come on.
Exactly. And I think that's exactly what it is. People that are winning and that are being successful and winning at a high level are not gonna take the time to sit there and write a fucking paragraph. Mm-hmm. Like, they're too busy winning, doing important shit. So it is what it is. You just have to whatever. You just keep pushing.
That's right.
Because it's super easy. Anybody could just get on there and say some dumb shit. So, but it is what it is.
Yeah, I've recently been doing because I really want to inspire. I mean, not just tattoo artists, but everybody, right? To just push content because it's opened up a lot of doors for me, and you have to take advantage of the opportunities now. This is the era of internet money, so get your piece of the pie. Get your piece of this internet money that's out there. So I'm a part of Casa TikTok's creator program. I'm a part of YouTube's creator program, and I just got signed on to the Dale Tu program, which is Meta. It's Instagram and Facebook, and it's amazing because I get invited to these events, and like for example, I was at VidCon too. VidCon is a convention for video creators. And I'm invited to a lot of these events, and I'm looking around, and I'm the only tattoo artist creator at these events. So I want, if you're a tattoo artist, if you're anybody else, and you do nails, like you can be in these spaces too. Just get your content out, and I'm trying to show other artists like, hey, you can make money off of tattooing, but you can also do these things as well. And so yeah, that's something that I want to encourage people to do is especially if you have a business is. What is your content? Some people don't like to be on camera. And I feel like that's, especially tattoo artists, a lot of tattoo artists are introverted. So, I meet a lot of artists where, again, you just see tattoos. You don't even know what they look like. You book an appointment and I'm here to see this person and you have no idea who's going to tattoo you. So I think, when you see my page, you already kind of know what I'm into. In fact, you're probably going to see me because maybe you like the same music that I do. Maybe you're into we have similarities. Maybe because we're both dads, you know what I mean? Things like that. So what I tell people is you have to find ways for you to connect with people. And it's by sharing yourself, your interests. What you see on my page, you already know what you're going to get. And I think that makes it easier for people to book with you because a lot of times too is when people, what do they say that when somebody decides to do business with you or service that, takes time. It's like a 3 month of like seeing your stuff, and then when you finally hit that trigger to, you know what, I'm gonna hit up JR to get this house, or you know what, I'm ready for this tattoo. I've been seeing Herschel's content, so it's just again finding ways to connect with people, and it's got to be genuine too. The things that I put out is real because it's got to be real too. You can't fake it. So you know yourself. So find a way to show yourself truthfully and organically on the internet.
Absolutely, because people are going to do business with you because they trust you and they like you.
And they like you.
That's it. And you're doing a good job of just delivering that.
Thank you.
Man, that's bars right there. That's real right there. We're going to cut that up. So, you mentioned Mr. Cartoon.
Yes.
Dude, I wanted to get tattooed by Mr. Cartoon so bad when I was like 18.
So you know what's up.
Dog. Because, he did 50s backs. And I'm like, dude, I want to get blasted, but I want him to tattoo me. And there was no way that I could get in contact with him. I didn't know. he did a lot for the tattoo community, right?
He definitely did.
He opened a
Still
lot of...
does. Still does.
Well, he still does. But he originally broke those barriers,
He
right?
showed what can be done and is still showing what can be done. I don't know if you guys seen he did the Los Angeles for the Clippers. So that's a major collab.
Yes.
An NBA collab, that's amazing. Those are the things that I'm chasing. Big collabs with big corporations.
Wow.
Yeah, that's amazing. And it's inspiring. So
Yeah. And I know he started with just tattooing like the rappers. And that just led to way more stuff.
Yep. Yeah, he went on. I remember seeing photos. Have you seen LA Originals on Netflix? He has a documentary. It's an amazing documentary, but it's amazing because it's all documented. This was, again, before the internet, so it's documented, this video footage by Esteban Oriel. And it's him on tour, and he's on tour with these rappers, tattooing Exhibit one night, Eminem one night. So again, it's the art, the Chicano lifestyle, and the entertainment industry all in one. And that's a big inspiration of why I am who I am today.
Mr. Cartoon put us on the map.
That's right.
And we appreciate you. Shit. That's what's up.
I do want to talk about a little bit more about social media. So YouTube, I mentioned YouTube, and I wish I could say, hey, I started YouTube and, it went well for me and it opened up all the doors. But YouTube has been a crazy relationship with YouTube. I started, stopped, and it's been like that for years. I've only been consistently posting on YouTube. I would say truly consistent 1 year. It's this year. The year before that, I had an editor that used to edit my I have a series called The Hit List on YouTube.
Okay.
And you could find episodes with like Junior H, Blueface, Cuco, DDG, a bunch of celebrities on there. And it's my show on YouTube that I started in I believe the end of 2020. And so anyways, I put out videos here and there, and it's just been a roller coaster, man. It took me forever. I just hit 100,000 subscribers about a month ago, and it took me more than a decade to get there. But again, I wasn't consistent on it, and it started opening up the doors for video creation when it comes to short form. I started putting out videos on Instagram. I feel like for me, it didn't really... Because sure, you might get viral moments, and that's something that I'm addicted to too, bro. Is when TMZ posts you, that's a high that I get. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you chase it, right? When something does well, it's the physical, I guess physical proof that it's a physical win, a real win that you see in real life, and those are things that I chase. But I start putting out videos on TikTok, and they start doing really well. I start showcasing myself for who I am, because I feel like on Instagram, people were following me because I was tattooing their favorite rapper or their favorite, NBA player. But on TikTok, it was fun because I just started posting stuff that is non-tattoo related. And I think that's what opened my eyes to expanding outside of tattooing. And that's when TikTok reached out. So TikTok was the first app to actually acknowledge me. And that really inspired me. And that's when I first started making money. And that's something I wanted to talk about, is making money off of your videos. So the way that these payouts go is it's in seasons. It's the programs are always changing. And because this is a True Hustle podcast, I wanted to talk about the way I got my first house. And so last year I started putting out reels on Facebook. And right away, I'm doing really well on there. I had been posting on there previously, and I've actually always had my Facebook account for over 10 years, and I stopped using it. I only started using it again just to post and repurpose my content that I already had out, which is all my TikToks. So I started posting my TikToks on there. I started getting millions of views on Facebook when the Reels program started. And I started hitting the caps. The cap is you hit X amount, you get X amount of views, you get the max payout. And I was hitting the max payout. I'll tell you guys, it was $1,000 a month, and I was hitting the max payouts monthly consistently for several months. And you know what I did is I had been chasing the American dream. I had been getting my tax paperwork right, getting my finances in order for years, because I grew up in apartments and I always wanted a home. My family was growing. Me and my wife have 2 kids, and we actually all of a sudden we become foster parents. And this came suddenly out of nowhere. This is a family member. And we didn't know that the family member was pregnant. And it was basically up to us. There was nobody that could care for this child. If we didn't step in, the baby was going to get taken by the system. So me and my wife stepped in, and baby Eli became our third child. So our family's grown. We had just gotten a dog. Again, I'm chasing the American dream, trying to save money. And you know how that goes. You're saving money, life happens, struggling. I lose my savings, and then I'm at a low point, and I'm just doing what I'm doing. I always try to maintain a positive mindset. It's going to work out. We're going to figure this out. It's never a bad situation happens. It's not like, oh, the end of the world. No, we're going to figure this out. So I start posting these videos, and I just save up all my money. I buy a house in Riverside, remodel the home, and I ended up buying my first home from Facebook money alone, not my tattoo money, Facebook money alone. And unfortunately, the program ends, so I'm not making that nowhere near that anymore. So I can't depend. You can't depend on the payouts because it's a changing game. They might be paying you well, the last year, but it doesn't necessarily mean you're going to be making that same consistent money. Don't get used to it. When you get that money from a campaign, right? From a brand deal, don't just spend it right away, because when you get it fast, you want to spend it fast, right? But definitely, because it feels like it's always, you see this with rappers, it's not going to end. I'm going to be clouded up forever. I'm going to be making all this money forever. You have to be conscious and aware of that, and just invest it while you can. And I feel like that's what I did. So I made this chunk of money during that time, and I invested it, bought a home. And now the payouts have slowed down. I'm not really making money off of videos anymore. Right now I'm chasing brand deals and campaigns. So I signed with an agency, Viral Nation, and again, I'm one of the few artists that are signed to an agency. It's a big agency that I met at VidCon, and that's what I'm chasing. I'm chasing commercials, endorsements, again, with big corporate companies. I had an offer from Boost Mobile that would have been a national campaign, and don't get discouraged, because I was already so hopeful on it. And that's why I don't like to share exciting news, because you can get excited and you could have an opportunity at your feet, but you never know if it's going to go all the way through. And let's just keep moving forward. There'll be another opportunity.
Damn. It just makes me happy, though, people think that money is just going to come in all the time, especially in that type of industry. That shit could stop, and it did. But if you're getting large amounts of money, reinvest it into something that's going to give you money passively.
Exactly.
Like, be smart with the money, because if it stops and your lifestyle isn't sustainable, then we got a fucking problem.
Yeah.
And what I mean by your lifestyle isn't sustainable, so let's say you would continue to get $1,000 a month, which is a lot of fucking money. Mm-hmm. That's fucking crazy, dog. So now you're like, oh, hell yeah, this is coming in January, February. I'm balling. I'm going to do this. I'm going to get my chain. I'm going to give me a fucking Rolex and this and that, a Lambo, boom. And that shit came to a complete stop. Now, could you afford that Lambo, that house, all those things that you should not have bought in the first place?
That's right.
Can those things pay themselves on a monthly basis without that money? The answer is no. That shit is unsustainable, and that shit is about to crash.
I agree.
So be smart, and I'm just glad that you buy yourself a house. That's big.
Yeah, it's American dream. American dream.
Shit. It's just because I did hear about that. Somebody else mentioned it to me like, hey, well, I was making X amount, and that shit came to a stop, so I had to return my car.
Yeah. I mean, I'm seeing with my creator friends right now, a lot of people that usually are really busy. I think the creator community right now is slow. Right now, I'm hopeful because it's Hispanic Heritage Month, so and the holiday season. So this is a time for creators where there's more offers, right? Mm-hmm. But it definitely has slowed down for a lot of creators right now.
I think it's slowed down in general.
You're right. No, I agree.
A lot of businesses are starting to feel, a little hit. Things are going down. Real estate marketing doing so well. But I told my agents and I told people in my industry, prepare, because things are going to change, and they're going to change from one day to another. They're not going to give you a fucking 30-day warning or a 60-day warning that, hey, this is what's going to happen. So I pre-warned them, like, save your money, make sure that you're prepared, so when things start changing and you ain't closing 4 deals a month. You're going to go from 4 to 0. Like, you need to prepare because shit will happen. You know, I've been around for the 2008 market, so, you know, like that shit, the world ended from
sure.
like, it felt like it ended from one day to another, and everybody's like, ching as a mother, like.
Yeah, my mom lost her house during that time. I
You
remember.
know, and it was tough. You know, this isn't like 2008. So let me clarify that. It's not. We have equity. So, but interest rates are up, things are changing, so you need to be prepared for situations like that.
Definitely.
And I'm just glad that you buy yourself a house. And how was that process? Who taught you that? Or did you teach yourself, or did you know right away, like, man, I'm making all this money, I got to do something with it?
I think the alignment was just perfect. Everything happened. It was crazy how that happened. And back to, you know, taking in our foster child, a lot of amazing things started happening right after we took this child in. So it's just crazy how everything happened. He ended up being a blessing. You know, he brings a lot of life and love into our family. And so it's been amazing because I feel like everything just aligned at the right time. We were already in the process of, in the beginning, it was like, what can we qualify for? I had to meet with my my accountant, meet with people, and just basically just prepare before we were actually ready to buy. So it's something that we had been trying for a lot of years because we had previously had looked and it was super competitive. We got discouraged. We'd get to showings. We're for almost, I feel like 6 months, even before that opportunity, we were looking at homes every weekend, and it was so competitive. By the time we get there, there's already a line. By the time we're deciding to put in an offer, there's already a cash offer involved. You can't compete. Shit. So it just, again, we got discouraged, but I was already in the process of, at least in my mindset of, I want something that's ours. I want something that can be, you know, my family needs this. So yeah,
because you were buying in the middle of when it was like bananas.
Yeah. Even when I bought, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think sometimes, so for example, when we got into this house, it was because we made a personal connection with the family. So the previous family that was at our current home, they had lived there since, it's for 50 years. So it's generations of families that have lived there. And I believe there was 3 kids that were raised in that home. And we came in as, they wanted to sell to a family, not an investor. We came in as a family with 3 kids. They raised 3 kids and we met them. So if it wasn't for us meeting them and knowing our story, coming in with 3 kids that were raised in that home, that was that personal connection that made them decide, hey, I want to sell my home to this family. So they sold it to us at asking price too. And at that time, everyone was selling for over. So again, it's just, how do you connect? And we ended up connecting with the family, and it happened. It happened, you know, it happened good in a good way. So
it was meant to be.
It was meant to be. I feel like that. I really do feel like that.
Absolutely. I think in that market, I helped Primo buy his house, and it was just nuts in that same market. It's like 15 months ago or whatever. It was like 30, 40 offers, some ridiculous craziness. And I was like, hey, I'm going to try my best and I'm going to get this one accepted, but go pray. And if it's meant to be, it would happen. And it did.
Wow, that's amazing.
So sometimes things just play out right. Mm-hmm. You know? You said that you were already working towards buying a house, but you had to get your finances together and, you know, your accountant. Did you learn that by yourself? Or who told you, hey, maybe it's time for you to get an accountant and get your finances together so you could start acquiring some assets?
Yeah, it was. So I learned mainly from just what's available online. You could go on YouTube now and learn anything. I started following a few pages that specialized in that, loan officers, agents, real estate agents. So I was just doing my own research just on my own and whatever was available online. But something that I learned, a lot of people, they are cash businesses, right? They're cash based and they think, oh, okay, I have all this money stacked, but you definitely have to have a paper trail. You have to have it accounted for. So that was something that I learned because tattoo shops, barber shops, a lot of the times were cash based. So you got to use 2 years of income, right? 2 years, and I don't get, a W-2, right?
So I had to,
so for 2 years, I had to get my convert my paper money into my account and have it all be documented and have a paper trail. So that was something that I learned, and that's something for everybody that's a cash base, that it doesn't matter how much money you have, if you can't prove it, then it's not going to help you. So be mindful of that too.
Yeah, being self-employed is tough.
Yep.
Because people think that, oh, well, shit, I make this much money and I got this much saved. It's like, okay, well, how are you going to source those funds? Because the bank is going to want to see where this money is coming from. And then it's like, man, I made $200,000. It's like, yeah, but your taxes say that you're negative 10. So like, what the fuck is going on here? Like, you know, like,
yeah.
So it's like these things that I always say that getting qualified and buying a house, being self-employed, everything has to be on point.
Definitely.
Because W-2 is easier. It's like, okay, here are my W-2s, these are my taxes, and bam. Of course, you factor in the debt and all this stuff, but when it comes to self-employed, it's like you think you're making this much money, which you probably are, but on paper you're not. And it's something that you have to now. You know, it's now you have the bank statement programs and all that stuff, but it's always good to just have your finances on point.
Definitely. And I tell all my friends, and I encourage all my, especially younger tattooers, I try to teach them things that I wish I learned when I was at their age. So I definitely do tell them to prepare ahead. Don't be ready till you finally, you have to plan ahead for it. So if you're going to buy a home, start planning a year in advance, don't just decide one day, because people think like, I decided to buy a house, I'll have a house next month. Like a lot of times that's not the case. Mm-hmm. So yeah, definitely plan ahead. Have you seen, I'm going to switch the subject up. Have you seen all the Blueface and Krishan news that's been out on the internet?
Not as of recent.
Yeah, it's been trending right now. So they're good clients of mine. That's why I bring them up. So I've tattooed Krishan, and I've been tattooing Blueface for 5 years. And I did want to talk about it because it's current trending news right now.
Okay.
So what happened is, Krishan, that was his girlfriend, right? He has a baby mama that he's been with since high school. He then has this girl that goes on his show, the Blue Girls Club, and then he starts dating her. She becomes his artist. They fall in love. And she gets 2 portraits that were actually done by me of Blueface, and not to mention Jonathan, which is his name above her eyebrow. I did that too. And so she gets pregnant, and they split up, and now she just had a baby. So she's all over the tabloids right now. So people are talking about her, and what I wanted to talk about is that, I've gotten hate from that too. Herschel, how could you do that to Krishan? Like, wow, how can you, or Blueface too. They're going in on Blueface because they're thinking he's forcing her to get these tattoos. I want to make that clear on this podcast too, that she's the one that wants these tattoos. It's not Blueface. I've been there. In fact, I've seen Blueface even encourage her to, hey, maybe you shouldn't put it there. Why don't you do a different portrait? Maybe you should do it on your leg. So it's definitely Krishan that, and I do believe that there's real love there. I really do believe that she really loves him and cares for him. But yeah, she wasn't forced to get those tattoos. That was willingly on her end, on her part.
So she did it on her own.
She did it on her own.
They actually try to discourage her not to do it, but she chose to do it. And is it like super visible?
Yeah, her tattoos that she has one on her throat, and then she has one on the side of her neck, and she also has Jonathan above her eyebrow. And she's got other ones that I didn't do, but she has, I don't know, 7 tattoos for him.
And that's
Krishan.
What's her name?
Krishan Rock. Mm-hmm.
Man, I'm going to go tell my wife, man, you need to step up your game, home girl.
Not
you ain't
one,
got
but
no
2
neck
portraits?
tattoos, man. You got, man,
Yeah.
I need one right here,
Yeah.
dude, smiling and shit with the True Hustle logo on. Damn, that's straight dedicated.
Definitely.
Damn. So they're just going through drama then.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
I mean, if you're gonna get a tattoo of your partner or your significant other twice on your neck and on your there has to be some type of
Definitely.
You know?
And that, that's actually what was my first tattoo was my wife's name, right? And I have like 4 or 5 tattoos, and I'll tell you right now, it's never enough, man. It's never enough. Well, it's time for another one,
Yeah.
So
well,
it doesn't matter. 1 leads to 2, 2 leads to 5.
I hope that Blueface and Krishan, whatever her name is,
Yep.
I mean, I hope I pronounced it right. I hope they are able to fix whatever issues they have and shit. Man, I'm gonna go tell my wife, hey, what's it called? I'm gonna have to get you a tattoo of myself on your neck.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
No, yeah, these sessions are they're interesting. You never know what's gonna happen. You never know where you're gonna go. You never know who's gonna be there. I've been in scenarios where I go tattoo one rapper, and all of a sudden there's a few other rappers that show up. And yeah, I remember one time we were tattooing Trippie Redd at the W Hotel, and I was in the middle of tattooing Trippie and his girlfriend, and all of a sudden this fight breaks out in the hotel room, and all of a sudden it's two of his team. They're going at it over food. It sounds like they're fighting over chicken nuggets, and I guess there was a plate of chicken nuggets, and somebody just took it upon themselves to get into, and they finished the plate. So the argument was about, oh, you ate my food. The other guy was, oh, but we're family. We're supposed to share. And it actually led up to one of the dudes pulling out a gun in this hotel room.
Oh,
and as this is going on, everyone's casual, like nothing is happening. I'm even casual. In my mind, I'm just tattooing. I'm focused on the tattoo. I'm kind of looking over, but minding my own biz. Meanwhile, my coworker George, he's looking around like, what what is going on right now? So he's panicking because he's in the middle of it. I'm just focused on tattooing. So yeah, he pulls out this gun, and they ended up settling it. Thankfully, they ended up settling it. Shortly after that, we got kicked out because they were smoking in there. And I remember on the way out, I had my setup. I was doing, I think, all red tattoos. And, the W Hotel is a nicer hotel, and it was a suite. And as we're leaving, George, my coworker, he spills the red ink all over this W Hotel rug. So we ended up staining the W Hotel carpet. So, but yeah, that was just kind of like a funny story where wild things happen. You never know what you're going to walk into on these sessions. So.
And how serious people take chicken nuggets.
Yeah,
like,
come
damn,
on.
Boo, like you fucking ate the ranch too.
Yeah, he was going off. It's a principle. I'll buy you a new one. But yeah. It's
okay. So now we got a crazy story.
Yep.
So which one is one of the most memorable tattoo sessions with a celebrity that you're like, you know what? Damn, he blessed me with a lot of wisdom.
DDG has been somebody that I've been blessed with as far as like a lot of wisdom. He was the one that was telling me, encouraging me to go on Facebook because he was doing really well on Facebook. So I think somebody like him, he's, whatever hustle he was on, I remember him just kind of sharing those bits and pieces, share a lot of wisdom there. As far as memorable goes, I received a lot of press when I first got verified on Instagram was in 2018. And I don't know how it goes now, but at the time it was based on press, news article write-ups, right? So at the time I received a bunch of press because I tattooed Aaron Carter. That's probably been one of my biggest or most viral tattoo sessions because not only did I tattoo like an ex-pop star, but he got this crazy visible tattoo that wasn't even supposed to happen in the first place. And that was a session that I went over to do, and I didn't expect what was to come because of that session. And that led to, TV stations at my shop. I got a bunch of press write-ups. And I feel like that changed. A lot of things changed for me after tattooing Aaron Carter. So that one is very memorable. I don't really get nervous tattooing celebrities, but there have been a few people. Moneybagg Yo was somebody that I got nervous around. So, just because I'm a big fan. But yeah, I just try to go in there as my authentic self and just talk to everybody. And I talk to everybody the same. Doesn't matter who you are, celebrity or not. If you're working KFC, I was working at KFC. It doesn't matter. I treat everybody with respect and treat everybody the same. What's up.
Did you tattoo 6ix9ine?
I did tattoo 6ix9ine.
How was that?
He was cool. Yeah, 6ix9ine was cool. It was crazy because at the time when I tattooed 6ix9ine, he was beefing with YG. Do you remember that?
Oh, yeah.
He was beefing with YG. At the time, everybody hates 6ix9ine, right?
Yeah.
At this time, everybody was out for him. And it took a long time for me to lock that session. It took about a year for me to lock that session in. When I was finally able to go, I went to his Airbnb in Beverly Hills. And as we pull up, there's like a squad car outside of this Airbnb that was gated. And as I'm pulling in, they stop us, and I'm nervous because I'm like, what's going on? Did something just happen? And we pull over, and they see me taking my tattoo stuff. They see me carrying a bunch of stuff, and I say, oh, I'm the tattoo artist. And then one of the officers that was there, he gets on his walkie, and he walkies the security that was inside, and they're like, hey, it's Cartoon's here. So he said that, bro,
shit.
that made my night. I was like, oh shit, they think I'm Cartoon? Yeah, I didn't even say anything about it. Thank you. So yeah, that was a cool, cool little thing. But anyways, I've never been to a home where they had that much security. They had security, again, on the main street. When you get to the door, at every entrance, there was security everywhere. And I remember when I walk into this session, I'm super nervous too. This was one that I was nervous because it had built up a year of anticipation. I had really been wanting to work with 6ix9ine. And I remember I walked in, there was a security. He's in bed with 2 chicks. Like they look like they just got finished dodoing something, and this
living
was
his best life.
He was living his best life. Yeah, bro. The Louis bag on the side with the cash, the jewelry, I'm just trying to paint the picture. A table with fruit. So it was better living for sure. And
price just went up, homie.
Right? So I go in there and right away he gets up and his energy was cool. He was like happy, positive, greets me. The girls get up, they take a shower, and this was actually his girlfriend that he was with, Jade, and her sister, but he ended up dating her for a long time. And I remember just being there, being excited, and I have a funny story that I share with people about how I forgot numbing cream on him, and it was just a funny experience. He was in a lot of pain. I actually tattooed those 2 girls that same night. They got little tattoos. And
like, where were you tattooing him at?
I was tattooing his forehead. So this was at the point he had already decided, I want to get rid of all these 6ix9ine tattoos. So I remember I added a Brooklyn tattoo above his forehead. He had a 6ix9ine up here. We covered that up with the rose that's up here with the leaves, and then I did the rays on the side of his face. But it was a lot of cover up work. And I did Brooklyn on his forehead, the lettering on his forehead. But it was funny because it's interesting because, again, we're talking about the aesthetic of tattooing, and not everybody wants the super clean. I've even heard NBA players say, I don't want to get tattooed by that guy. Those tattoos look too pretty. They're too clean. So, again, what I think is amazing work is different than NX. And the reason I bring that up is because with 6ix9ine, I remember he wanted me to do like this harsh shading on it. Now, normally in that type of tattoo, like, he didn't want a perfect tattoo, and that's the aesthetic that I feel like a lot of rappers want, is they want it to look like it was done like by the homie in California, you know what I mean? So by a Chicano artist. So I feel like sometimes people want that, like Wayne, it looks like real street. So not everybody wants that super clean look. There are people that want an imperfect, believe it or not, an imperfect tattoo. They don't want a clean aesthetic. So
I didn't even realize that was a thing.
That's a thing.
Like my tattoos, I'm like, nah, that shit gotta look.
Well, let's think about fashion. A lot of with rappers, right? Because rappers are just, or even, people with money, things like that. You don't want what everybody has. So if everybody has all these clean tattoos, look at the designer brands, right? You get a distressed shoe now, a distressed shirt. You can apply that with tattooing too. It's like buying a perfect tattoo is like buying a perfect clean shoe. When you buy something that has more of a distressed look, you're getting like that designer. And that's what I compare my tattoos is. I think tattoos are modern jewelry because they're a luxury, right? They're not a necessity. So my tattoos, I look at it as like, if you get a piece by me, at least that's what I'm going for. It's like buying a designer piece. It's like a permanent watch, something that it comes with the brand too, right? Oh, I got tattooed. RocknRollG did it. It's the brand behind the tattoo, and that I think that's another thing that separates me from other tattoos. It's not just a tattoo; it's a tattoo done by RocknRollG.
I'm gonna have to get a tat.
I gotta do it, man. Save some space for me.
I said I wasn't gonna do it no more.
Even a little one.
Fuck it. We're gonna have to get something
for sure. Yeah.
Shit. All right. I love tattoos, so I'm just gonna go in.
Can I ask you real quick? Do you use lemon cream or not? That's a hot topic.
I did it once, and I'll never do it again.
Can I ask why? What kind of experience was it?
It didn't work.
Really?
Maybe it wasn't applied right.
I think so.
And it was because Adrian doesn't use.
A lot of artists do not use lemon cream. In fact, they're against tattooing lemon cream usually.
But I tattooed my foot, bro.
Wow.
And I'm like, fuck this. And this was the second session. I said, you're going to have to put something, bro.
Yeah.
Shouldn't work.
Wow. That's a tough spot.
It's going okay.
Tough spot.
So now this is my question.
Yeah.
What are the top 5 most painful spots to get a tattoo?
The most sensitive areas to get tattooed are, believe it or not, the woman feminine areas, which are ribs, feet, ankle, inside bicep, those areas are super sensitive. For me, my throat was the most sensitive. It goes all the way up under my chin there. We did about 6 hours, and that was a tough one. No numbing cream either. And I just got tattooed on the back of my head. I did that with no numbing cream either.
I never used. I mean, once, but it was a fail.
Yeah,
and that was like my last tattoo.
Okay.
So,
yeah, I think it will either because there's new creams available. There used to be this one called Dr. Numb, and I actually heard of Dr. Numb because I tattooed Lil Twist. He used to be a part of Young Money, and he told me that Lil Wayne used to use Dr. Numb. So I started buying Dr. Numb, but it's a good product, but you have to let it set in for a long time.
For like an hour, right?
At least an hour. Dr. Numb, I would let it set in for longer. But there's new products that are available now that you don't have to let set in as long. And I find there's a specific brand that I use that I find that because when you use any lidocaine product, there's a risk that tattoo might turn red. You might have some difficulties healing. I understand that. There might even give you a hard time during the tattoo process, right? So it does come with its risks, but I feel like at least the brands that I use, I see minimal side effects is what I'm trying to say. And again, I'm somebody that I'm experimenting. I've experimented with like 30 plus numbing creams. I'm constantly trying to find the best one because a lot of my clients are coming in from. I just had a client from the UK, and he came out here to visit family. But while he was out here, he came out here to get tattooed. And
I've seen that one.
Yeah. So I just did that, and
Virgin?
it's amazing. Yes,
Yeah.
and it's amazing because again, people are finding me from other parts of the state outside the world or outside the country. But a lot of my point being is that a lot of my clients are making a long commute to travel to get tattooed, and I have no choice but to finish that tattoo. I can't. There's no option. I have to finish the tattoo.
Yeah, that's right.
So that's why I use numbing cream for a lot of my tattoos because I'll do a full chest in a day. I'll do a shoulder tattoo that's 10 hours, and I'll do that in a day.
Full chest in one day?
Oh yeah, definitely do it. That's like a 12-hour piece. But I've had that. I've had clients where again they're coming in from out of state. They only have 1, maybe 2 days, but a lot of times people just want to get it done the first day, and that's where numbing cream for me, it's used as a tool. I don't feel it. I don't care if someone uses it or not. A lot of people do turn it down, but if you want to use it, we'll use it. If you don't, fine.
How about this new like going under? Like
that's wild, huh?
Yeah, like what's it called? Post Malone did it, right?
A lot of people. Dirk has done it. Moneybagg Yo has done it. A lot of people have gone under. Arcangel, he went under. Well, you see it. I think right now it's more for it's real niche. What it is, I feel like it's more for athletes and rappers. Why? Because they're on a busy schedule, right? Touring, for example, like even the NBA, you're on the NBA schedule. You only have X amount of time off, so you're able to get a year's worth of work in one day. How do they do that? By putting you under. You're out for 8 to 10 hours for a large scale tattoo. You have 4 artists or multiple artists that work on you. So that's how you're able to achieve a year's worth of work in one day. I mean, I could see that making sense for that type of clientele, but for if you're in local, if you have the time, I like the experience, man. You think they're gonna connect like that? No. It's like you're a robot at that time. I didn't even get a chance to talk to you. You were asleep the whole time.
I was dormido, güey.
Yeah. So, but what I think of it, I offer it. I haven't done it yet, but I have a doctor that will help me perform that. And it has to be done in a medical setting. So in my scenario, it's in a surgical center, and it's with a doctor and an anesthesiologist. So there's 2 people involved because you're also monitored too. So after you wake up, it's like going through surgery, traditional surgery. You wake up and you're monitored to make sure you're okay.
Yeah.
You put your body through a lot of trauma, so you have to make sure you're okay when you wake up. And I think it's dangerous, and it makes me nervous because everything is a numbers game, right? Just like people pass away during surgery, and you see that happening, especially with like a lot of the Instagram models and like the BBL, because it's like the most dangerous procedure, right? So with tattooing, I think right now it's hot, it's trendy. I think it's also a flex. It's like buying a Rolex. I got put under. I got this whole chest piece, but I think it's gonna slow down once there's a death, and that makes me nervous. That's why I don't really want to do it, because the risk. There's always a risk.
There's always a risk. If they put you under,
yeah. If I tattoo the celebrity and they pass because they were put under, that makes me really nervous. Yeah. If I can talk somebody out of it, I'll do that. Hey, let's just do the numbing cream, bro.
One step at a time.
Yeah,
let's try the numbing cream.
Yeah.
If that shit don't work, then
yeah. But you asked what I think about it. I mean, it's cool, not something I really push, but it is an option, and it's there and available.
Dude, I want my neck tattooed pretty bad.
Okay.
But it won't happen. He's like, it won't happen.
In your industry, I don't think I see too many like heavily tattooed. I'm talking visible outside of the sleeves, hands and neck. You don't really see that, right?
My clients, fuck.
Wow.
I have,
I get it.
I have my investors and my older clients that fucking love me.
Yeah.
If I show up with a neck tattoo, I don't know. They might be like, "Oh, what the fuck?
Yeah.
What happened to this guy?" You know what I
No,
mean?
you definitely get looked at differently.
You know?
Yeah.
But I want it. But I think it varies by like industry.
Definitely.
Or let me ask you this. The realtor that helped you out, if he had a whole neck tattoo, would you be like, "Oh, I don't know if I want to work with this guy"?
Not me personally, because I feel like I tell people all the time that some of the most heavily tattooed people are some of the nicest people I've met, and that's something that I learned early on when I was first learning to tattoo. I remember I'd go and do these classes, and these were guys that were veterans that were tattooing forever, so they were covered in tattoos, and I never forgot that because I remember when I got my first certificate. I remember meeting a heavily tattooed guy, and I remember thinking that guy was super nice, and see. Subconsciously, I was already assuming things about him, and I learned. I'm like, you know what? Yeah, it's not really like that. So I meet a lot of. I think because a lot of people are super heavily tattooed, they're conscious and aware that people are looked at differently. So maybe maybe for that reason they try to be a little bit more nice. I mean, if I'm around like an older person or a checkout, I try to be extra friendly myself because I don't want to intimidate anybody either. But I tell people all the time that I think when people do notice my tattoos, as soon as the conversation starts. You don't notice them after a while. They're not existing at a certain point.
You're right, I think. And for me, I like tattoos, so to me, it's not a big deal.
Yeah.
But it's like, I always get I'm sure you get bro, I go to the store sometimes and I'm like in shorts and a tank top, then I'm going to get the.
Definitely. And I remember seeing it.
There, you know, and I'm like, that's fucked up, dog.
Bring your kid closer.
I'm like, man.
Yeah, no, when I worked in construction sales for 10 years, right? And when I was doing that, I used to wear long sleeves. I didn't have visible tattoos. So my hands, neck, head, those were at the very end or towards the end, later years that I got those. But I remember that. I remember in my work attire, everybody was extra nice. And I remember on my days off how you are treated. And I'm one of those people where I don't even pay attention. There's times where I'm out in public and like my wife would be like, "Oh, that lady was rude," or whatever. She was looking you up and down or looking at us because she has tattoos too. And I don't notice those things. So I don't know if it's a good or a bad thing, or I try not to notice those things. I don't care. You know, it doesn't bother me.
Yeah, my wife has a full sleeve too. Shit, it's hard.
Yeah.
But even then, they look at her like,
yeah.
And she's like the sweetest. Like she's like, come on, man. But yeah, but I mean, I understand that some people are gonna be like, oh shit, are not gonna be fond about it. Like they're gonna be like, oh, I know they have that stigma, right? Like the tattoos. I really don't care at this point, you know. But I respect my business, and I'm gonna be professional at all times. But in my spare time. Shit, I can do whatever the hell I want, right?
Do you?
Yeah. So I'm gonna close it with this. I want to know like one of the craziest stories, like when you were tattooing. Have you ever had somebody pass out? Like the craziest shit that you're like, this really fucking happened. Like I want to know.
Yeah. So I have this story, right, where I'm tattooing this client, and it's a couple. So I was tattooing the guy. Guy comes in and they're already pretty relaxed, right? They come in, I could tell they were drinking, is what I'm trying to say. Oh, shit. So they come in and I'm working on the guy. He's getting his inside bicep done. And actually a little bit on the outside as well. So I'm tattooing him and they're drinking more. They my shop is across from a 7-Eleven. So I noticed they go over there and they grab some wine. So they're drinking more throughout the session. They start getting more touchy. And they're kissing, right? So they start getting real touchy. They're kissing each other during the session. And at first, not a big deal. A few kisses here and there. As the night goes on, it starts getting pushed more and more. Now they're like really on each other. The lady's almost on top of my client, right? Like almost like to the point where like I need to tell him to chill because it's getting that obvious. It's so obvious that even my coworkers are looking around, looking at the back of the shop like, what's going on over there? So at this point in time, right, I'm tattooing, minding my business, right? Not even saying anything. I don't know what to say, bro. So little by little, I remember the lady starts like touching his nipple little by little, you know, just slowly touching it. Yeah, like whispering things in his ear. And at this point, they're already doing the most, right? Little by little, the guy starts touching my thigh. And at first it starts touching with little fingers. Little fingers. Little fingers in the beginning. Yeah. So I'm thinking, okay, it's an accident. I kind of moving my thigh away. And it starts getting worse. Now at this point, the next time it's like a grab. Like he's really touching my thigh. At this point I realized, like, what is going on here? I'm feeling they're trying to get me involved in on this. So I just kind of move his hand. Third time happens to the point where I had to, hey man, are you guys okay? Do you need to use the bathroom? I had to stop it, you know? But long story short, this was a session that, and I made a video off of this. So this is a true story that happened. They wanted me to join in on their party. They were I finished the tattoo shortly after that, and they were persistent on me leaving home with them. And that's just kind of one of those funny stories where I had never happened to me. And yeah, they tried to get me to join this party. Yeah.
Oh fuck.
Yeah, but
how do you? Oh, that's crazy. I would have been like,
yeah.
¿Qué traes, güey?
Yeah. I didn't know what to say. I did not know what to say. So.
Did you tattoo them again?
No, I haven't. I have not seen them. I haven't heard from them or seen them again. I wonder if they're embarrassed. Sometimes I wonder, because I put out these videos. I don't give names or anything, and I change a lot of things. But sometimes I wonder with these videos if people know I'm talking about them. Because I have a series called "This Really Happened During a Tattoo," and there's different scenarios. Like I remember I had this pretty girl that farted during a session, things like that. Or I've had people have seizures or. I'll share this quick one too. When I first started tattooing, I had this guy came in again drinking too, and I'm tattooing him. He falls asleep. He's so faded that he falls asleep, and I continue working on this piece. Finish the tattoo. We're done. I try to wake him up because we're done with the session. Hey, bro, we're done. Try to wake him up. He would not wake up. So he was being tattooed on a bed. My next client shows up. So what I did was he didn't want to wake up. I simply pushed them off to the side. And I continued my next client. So the dude that passed out, he woke up in the middle of me tattooing my next client. And I'm like looking at him like, bro, we've been done with the session. And he just woke up still kind of, buzzed and super confused. He just paid me and he took off. But it's like I had a client that fell asleep, didn't want to wake up, pushed them off to the side, and I continued my day.
Fuck. Yeah. How do you fall asleep during a tattoo session?
He was drinking. I didn't use lemon cream at that time. So at this time, this dude was just a heavy drinker. He knocked out. Believe it or not, people do fall asleep, especially with tattoo lemon cream. I've had clients where they'll work all-nighters, and I throw them on a bed, and a lot of times they'll fall asleep, believe it or not.
Oh, so it's easy. It's easy for you, huh? Just,
yeah.
You're in the zone. This was fucking passed out snoring.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Something that people should avoid doing before getting a tattoo.
So I'm gonna start off with, how do you prepare for a tattoo? You make sure to get some rest. A lot of times people are excited for their tattoo that they don't get sleep. So make sure you're rested. Make sure to eat before your appointment. Make sure to stay hydrated. Drink water. I always tell people, you could come comfortable. Come in your sweats, be comfortable. If you want to bring a blanket, a lot of times tattoo shops are typically cold, just like a hospital setting. So bring a blanket, bring your headphones. If you're not a talker, I've had clients that don't really talk, that's fine. Bring the things that make you comfortable. I know a lot of times people say don't drink. I mean, if you want to maximize getting the best results, it is best, but I'm not strict on it. If that's something that's going to help you get through the tattoo, have a couple beers, that's fine. If you need to smoke, fine. Whatever is going to help you get through the tattoo is fine on my end. But that is something that people should be mindful of, like, what am I putting into my body? I was reading, check this out. I don't know if you guys have heard this, but I first started hearing about pork. I had like a few clients that were from Mexico that didn't even speak English. And I noticed that a lot of my clients, that type of client, they would always ask me, ¿Puedo comer o no puedo comer puerco, verdad? And at first it confused me. I'm like, why are they asking me this? And I started looking into it, and believe it or not, pork actually delays the healing process. So I didn't know that.
What?
There's something in pork that can affect your tattoo, and that was something new that I learned. I'm gonna make a video on this too. But yeah, that was something that I had never heard of. So again, what you put into your body leading up to your tattoo, if you want to maximize your best results, eat clean, drink plenty of water that week. If you want to really get into it, be applying ointment and lotion all that week. So by the time I tattoo you, I'm tattooing silky smooth skin, and it makes it easier for me to work on you. Those things people don't really think about, right? But those things really, again, will maximize your results. You'll get the best tattoo possible that way. And it'll make it easier on the artist too.
Damn, that's great advice. No, I'm like, damn, I should have done that shit. Dude, I had like a tattooing kit. So for me, like...
Wait, were you really tattooing?
No, like,
okay.
no, I would call it my tattooing kit, like that I would go when I would get tattooed. So I had like my water, I had a Coca-Cola, just in case I felt like...
Sugar,
you know, so I drank my, you know, I had chocolate. I had a bunch of sugars and my water. So it's like when I was sitting there and I was like already a few hours in and I'm like, oh, fuck. It's like I feel a little bit kind of, so I'll drink my soda.
Yeah.
And boom,
It helps.
and I'm back to life.
It helps. It really does. I even tell people, go get candy. You know, believe it or not, sugar does help. And I think a big one, not just the physical part of it, but I think your state of mind too, because you could psych yourself out. The mind is powerful.
Yes.
Like the mind is so crazy that a woman could think she's pregnant and she starts getting pregnancy symptoms. That is wild. So that can go good or bad, or it can go in a positive way, right? That's why it's important. What you think is what you are. And that's why I try to cut out not if, but when. I don't even say if, it's when it's going to happen. Yeah. So I think the mindset, if you're already coming in here like it's going to hurt, you're listening to your friends, my friend's telling me this area is bad, you already come in mentally thinking it's going to be a bad experience, you're going to have a bad experience. Yep. So I think that's very powerful too, is coming in with a good mindset, because that can really mess you up. I'll share another quick story. I had this gal, a couple that I was tattooing, and the chick she was getting tattooed she was going to get a forearm tattoo. Now, this was her third tattoo by me. I've done big tattoos on her in worse areas. To paint the picture, this was many years. I hadn't seen them in several years. So she probably forgot the experience of getting tattooed. So she comes in and I know she's nervous. She's even telling me she's nervous. And I'm already checking off the boxes. I'm like, okay, well, you slept right. You ate. Do you need water? So I can tell she's nervous. And I start this session, and not even 15 minutes in, I'm tattooing her forearm. 15 minutes of small line work. I use numbing cream, by the way. So numbing cream's applied. And 15 minutes into tattooing her head just falls back. And her eyes roll to the back of her head. And I'm panicking. She starts to have a seizure. She starts to seize. And she's having this seizure, bro.
Fuck.
And I look at the husband and I'm like, should I call 911? And he's like, yes. So I'm on the phone, 911, and she's shaking for a moment. It must have only been like 30 seconds, but it felt like longer. It feels like an eternity. It feels longer than that. And in my mind, I'm thinking, damn, someone's going to die in my shop. You know, I'm thinking the worst already. Ambulance shows up. By the time the ambulance and the firemen show up, she thankfully had already woken up and she was better at this time. She didn't even recall what happened. She just explained, I was fine and then I wasn't. She was confused. She didn't even know what was going on. And she felt well enough to drive herself. The husband, so they drove to Kaiser for emergency. The ambulance didn't have to take her, is what I'm trying to say. But that was one of those things where it showed me she was psyching herself out. Like she was already preparing for a hard session, and that's what happened. She had the seizure in my tattoo shop. So people do have seizures, during a tattoo shop. So
I think me tattooing my foot fucked it all up.
I'm sure you're traumatized by that.
So after that, I didn't want to get tattooed no more.
Shout out to all the women, because women get their feet tattooed and ankles, and those are some of the worst areas. I have
a money rose.
Okay.
And I tattooed my toes.
Ooh. Yeah, it's even worse.
And my heel.
Yeah.
I swear to you, when he was tattooing me, I've never tapped out. Wow. So Adrian was like, this ain't nothing.
It probably felt like you were getting your bones tattooed, right?
I feel it here.
Yeah.
So it was like, and I was like, oh, this isn't normal. Mm-hmm. So I think I panicked.
Wow.
And my mind went into like bro, I've gotten so many tattoos. This is not normal. So I fucked it all up. And then I got pale. So then he's like,
that's a quick sign right there.
And then he's like, and he looks at me and he's like, oh shit. Like, you serious? Because I told him, stop. Like, and he's like, oh fuck, you serious? So he's like, put it down. And I was like, bring my soda like right now, because I already knew. And I'm like, and I look at him and I'm like, nah, dog, I think I'm done. And he didn't even question it.
Wow.
It was 5 hours in.
Wow.
Yeah.
No, I believe it.
Shit.
I believe it.
He wants me to show my tattoos.
I'm gonna have to see that for sure.
I'll fuck with my hair though. But if I take this off, you know, I'm actually gonna take a picture when we take our picture. I'll take this off.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think that. Yeah. After that, I didn't want a tattoo no more.
Wow.
Because I think it just did so much, and the way I felt, I was like, "Fuck, dude." And then when I was gonna do my chest, we did everything. Adrian was like, I'm going to do it like this and fucking like this. And I was all excited. I got home and I started feeling. I'm like, motherfucker, you're not even getting tattooed. And I'm like, I told my wife, I think that shit just got to me.
Wow.
Now I feel like if I sit down, like I'm not going to be able to, I should have never tattooed.
Wow. And you know what? Like,
and I didn't even finish it.
Oh, wow.
It's still kind of like, because that's the hardest, that has been the hardest tattoo for me to heal.
That's one of the worst areas. I definitely believe that.
Don't get your foot tattooed.
Yeah.
No, dog. Don't do that.
That's one of those spots you should avoid right there.
Yeah. So yeah, but man, this is good. I think
person to tattoo.
Say it again.
Dream person.
Ooh, that's
Dream people to tattoo. My number one has always been Drake. Drake has always been the number one. I always joke. I'm like, I even told my wife this. I'm like, we could be on vacation. It could be my kid's birthday party. Once Drake calls, you already know I gotta go. You know, so she knows what's up. You know, if Drake calls, I gotta go. But yeah, that's always been that's always been my dream client to one day tattoo Drake. You know, we'll see. Now I do want to tattoo more Spanish artists. That's something I want to focus on. Soccer players. I definitely want to tattoo some soccer players. But
Messi.
Right? Messi would be amazing. Yeah, somebody like that. I want to tattoo somebody iconic, like a Kanye West, a Travis Scott, somebody that again you can look back. Like what I chase is what you see with like Tupac. You see the Thug Life, you know, the Tyson tribal tattoo. I want my tattoos to be talked about and be a part of pop culture. So that's what I'm chasing is those tattoos that are gonna live on forever. My art that's gonna be around when I'm gone.
You heard that, Drake? Get at us, bro.
OVO.
Shit, we're trying to link you up with my boy so you can get a tattoo. Boom. I'm really going to put that shit out there. I'm going to tag him on there.
Yeah, definitely. So I'm with Casa TikTok, the TikTok creator program. And about a year ago, we get this opportunity for, you get to pitch your dream project. And there's 3 to 500 creators in this program. And I pitched my idea, which is, I've always dreamed about having a TV series. I've always wanted to have like a Netflix series or just have a TV show. So at this time, I pitched my TV show to TikTok, and I actually become one of the 10 people that were selected for this funding for this dream project. And it's also supported by Eva Longoria, her company, which is Macro. So this is TikTok, Eva Longoria, and Macro that are funding this project. And I've learned, and this has been a learning process, because when I got this money, I got it about a year ago. It was one of those things where I thought my project's going to be done in 2 months. I'll have it. It's going to be done and the world's going to see it. Well, it's turned out to be a long process. I'm working with director Sergio Maldonado, and then we're going through a Hollywood union. So there's a lot of boxes that have to be checked off, and it's just been a long process getting this up and going. But I am working on my dream project, which is a TV pilot that I'm going to be able to pitch to networks. And I already have several networks interested, and one of them being Macro, which is Eva Longoria. So they get the first look at it. If they pass on it, I'm going to be able to shop this pilot around. So I'll be able to present it to other networks. And the dream is to put this project out and get it picked up by a network. And that's one of those goals that I've had in place for a long time, something that I've been chasing. And I just feel the closest to that goal ever. I'm almost there. I'm almost there, and it's a big thank you to TikTok and Eva Longoria. They're funding a Chicano's dream project, and I'm blessed and grateful for it. And I can't wait to share it with the world. I can't wait for everybody to see what I'm working on. I always compare it to like a rapper. I'm in album mode. This is my album this is my debut album that I'm dropping, and a lot of people see me as Herschel. Hey, you're doing this, you're doing that. And again, I tell people I'm just getting started. This is only the beginning. So the best is yet to come.
And we get to experience it, brother.
Hell yeah. Appreciate you guys.
So we wish you nothing but success, and we'll be looking forward to it, man.
Yeah, thank you so much. I also have a YouTube channel. If you guys want to check out my content on there, I post, and I don't even share these links on any of my stuff. So it's one of those things where if you find it, you find it, but I'm letting people here know. You guys can watch a lot of vlogs. There's a lot of sessions that I do with celebrities that are posted on my YouTube that, again, a lot of times I don't even really share on any other platform. It just lives on YouTube. So appreciate everybody, checking out my stuff.
Thank you
guys so much here. You guys are super inspiring too. Shout out to Chris too.
Thank you, my
appreciate
brother.
you guys, and the love is mutual. So I believe in you guys too, and I know you guys are. It's never an upward trajectory, but you guys are definitely booming, man. You guys are
Thank you
getting
so
there
much,
as well.
man.
So
we appreciate it. It's It's been a couple months, and it gets overwhelming at times, but you just got to keep pushing, man.
That's it.
No matter what, you're going to have shitty days.
Sure.
But it's okay. You keep pushing, and things are going to work out the way they're supposed to.
That's right.
And hard work always pays off. It will. You've been through a lot of things, and you made the right moves, and your content's dope, and it's going to pay off. Everything will pay off.
Thank you.
If you put in the work.
That's right.
And you have. Bam. Go subscribe to his YouTube channel. Check it out. Boom. We're out.